G'day, hi and welcome. What monstrosity do I got going on here? Well, I'm just going to do a Prestone top-up. So, I'll show you what the TT600 rad looks like. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can't really get in on there, but anyway, yeah, it looks like it went down a bit. Just came up a little bit, so I guess there's, I've started it up and kind of burped the system. So maybe there, when I opened it up, there was, let's see. Yeah, it's still kind of a little bit warm. Yeah, it's right to the top, so the rad is full right to the top. But this is only up to the minimum line now. When I opened it, it kind of went up just a little bit. So what you do to burp the system is this. Oh, I don't know if I can do it, but... Okay, then you just watch. Just flip the throttle a little bit. You can see the fluid moving around a bit. So you do that a couple of times and you watch for air bubbles coming out the top here. Now the fluid's, it's just warm, it's not hot, so it might go down. I should probably let it cool a little bit more. So it doesn't look like there's a lot of air in my system. Okay, let's see what we got going. Okay, so this is your rad hose here. It goes all the way down. The pump is here. I believe that's your drain to flush the system. It's nice and dry around. This is a good time to inspect your hoses and stuff. You can see I got a little bit of a leaky seal here, but that's not a big deal. Yeah, these things get side stand switches. I've got my beef with those, but yeah, so that's where you do it to flush, and then you'd probably pull this hose off, whatever. What's leaking here? I don't really know what's leaking here. I don't know if this is coolant or whatever this is. But it's a good time when you get this open like that. Inspect everything, you know, even the stuff you're not really after on that mission. But there, yeah, so it's just, you know, getting older. So I believe that's where the clutch is, or is the clutch on the? I think the clutch is on the other side actually. Yeah, no, clutch is on the other side. So anyway, that would be the stator there then. You got another overflow hose here. Yeah, that's it. So we got the pump here. So that's your circulate, and I guess that's just a return. Or that's the return, and that's the feed. And then you've got over here. This pipes in right at the top of the, this is the overflow right here. It pipes in at the very top. I don't know if you can see it. So it pipes in somewhere right down here. So there we go. So when it pipes in from the top here and it overfills, it goes in there, and then down in here. Where does it come out of? It comes out of there somewhere anyway. But what I'm going to do is I want to level this up. I want this at the max line. I don't want to go over the max, but I definitely want to go up to the max line. When I'm looking in here, it's right at the top of the rad. I'm not seeing any bubbles coming out, so that's good. So that means it's just low. This was changed when I bought the bike. It's new. They say about every 2 years you should do it. I'm not going to do a whole system flush. I'm just going to top up. The reason why I want it up here is because the weather's getting warmer and a little more coolant won't hurt the bike. But when you put the coolant in, put it in really slow. Like just trickle it in. That way you don't get as much. Because as soon as you that little hole, it doesn't take much to create like a bubble, like a vacuum seal. So like if you put some in and it comes up to the top of the cap, you'll see bubbles, and then you're getting air in your system. So if you pour it in really slow, you won't get as much air in the system. I will flush the system probably later on, but right now this is all I got, and I don't know if it's enough. According to that, it's enough, but I've never changed this system before. So with it completely empty, I don't know if I have enough fluid. I'd rather have 2 of these sitting around. Plus I want to try the engine ice, so what I'm going to do is I'll just top it up today. Maybe if you did this maybe once a month or something like that, or once every couple of weeks, if you find that burp the system. This bike is a bit of a mystery on some of the things it does. Again, my first liquid cool bike, there's a few things that it does that are such as right now, see that's up to minimum, but this morning when it was cold, it was below minimum. When you ride it and it gets hot, obviously as the fluid expands, it'll go up and down a bit. That's normal. But on cold, sometimes when it's cold, it's down here. Sometimes when it's up here. But from last year, it was almost midway all last year, but in the spring, it was down here. So maybe I have a mystery little pin leak somewhere. But my hoses look dry, which is good. But it wouldn't hurt to replace these things every couple of years anyway. I mean, heater hose is just heater hose, right? It's cheap. Check the clamps. Look, you're looking for seepage. Maybe that seepage. I don't know what that seepage is from. I got to figure that out. But I'll clean all that off, and you just monitor it. I mean, they're old bikes. Like I know, like for example, there's a seal that's obviously leaking there. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's not. There's never any drops on the ground, so it's just over time, and you could see some of the chain gunk and a lot of stuff there too. And then I found out where my fuel overflow. Okay, fuel's at a premium right now to buy. But I don't know about you, I always try to get every drop I can. So I had a $20 bill on me, and it normally last year was about $17.50 from the reserve when the fuel light comes on to fill it up. This year it's getting closer to the $20, and I was at $19.95, and I thought I could probably get that extra 5 cents in there. Nope. Leaks out on the ground through the overflow. There's a little bit of an overflow right around the cap here. At $19.98, it was just enough to out of the hole. And at least it doesn't go out on the tank. Anyway, it's kind of like it's a nice design for the tank there, so it doesn't make a mess. But I thought I can get $20 in there. I only got $19.98, and 3 cents of it ended up on the ground. So I just whatever. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going to burp the system again. Do it. Let it sit for a bit. Do it. If you do see, it's depending on where your radiator is on your bike, you'll see bubbles coming up out of the hole here once you top up. So you'll top up, it'll bubble up, and then it'll go down a bit, and then it'll bubble up. So run it a few times. Don't run it for long. You don't want to overheat the bike. But the good news is that the rad is full, so at least I'm not running the bike low. So there's more than enough. But I just don't know where that little loss of fluid that I had, like again, when I bought the bike and I put it on the road last year, it was at the minimum. So maybe it just burns off naturally, I can imagine, because there is a 50-50 mix of water and I guess it's glycol or whatever it is in here. And it's a 50-50 mix. So what you end up with is that obviously some of that water, even though it's well mixed in, is probably going to evaporate off a little bit over time, either through the heat or just regular evaporation. So who knows? Maybe you have seepage somewhere. This system looks pretty good. Like this might not necessarily be the coolant leaking out there. It doesn't seem to be coming from the hoses. So it could be just the seal around my stator. I'm pretty sure that's where the stator is, because this is the starter here. And then, get to know the bike. Check out the wires. Check out the caps. Look for stuff that's, getting worn down or whatever. It's a good idea to keep on top of that stuff. Yeah. So if you're burning coolant, you'll know, because you'll see white smoke coming out of the back of your exhaust. This bike there, the exhaust is clean. This is a good bike. It doesn't mean bad things can't happen, but so far so good. Hopefully it stays away. So I'm gonna blip it again. Watch for air bubbles. It might take a little while for the air bubbles to come up. You could shake the bike too. When you're topping up, one little thing, okay, maybe on the side tank it's not so important, but when you're topping up the rad, level the bike out. And I'll tell you why. Because you're going to have an air pocket over on the far side. So maybe level the bike out when you're putting it in, and just watch that you don't put so much in that it just starts spilling out. And the same with here. If you put too much in the overflow, it might bubble out there. So put a little bit in, level it out, run it, see if it goes down. If it goes down, top it up until it doesn't go down anymore. And that's pretty much the procedure for just topping up. Flushing, there's a little bit more to it. I don't want to gamble with it today. I think I'll be okay. My coolant is, like I say, I've only got maybe 6,000 kilometers on this batch of coolant that's in there, so it's fine. It's good to know when you did it though. So probably midsummer I'll probably do a full system flush once I get everything I need. Because also, when you do flush, you want to use distilled water so you don't get other contaminants in there, because you don't want the inside of your rad rusting. So today it's just a top up. But anyway, I guess I'll leave it at that. There we go.